Dennis here. I thought today would be a really good day to actually start my very first instructional video. So if you're watching this, what I'm hoping to accomplish. Oh, let me tell you why. Because look at it outside. It's like that's what's going on out there. So that makes me glad I'm in here. So it's a really good day. It's a really good day for painting indoors. So might as well do the first instructional video. So what I'm going to do, or what I hope to accomplish anyway, is start with the very basics. 3 primary colors, mix those colors, creating a color wheel, and just give you the feel for kind of what it takes to start the process of plein air painting. A lot of people who've looked at my paintings and stuff, they make the comment that they could never do this. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's a learned thing. If I showed you my very first painting I did 4 years ago when I started painting outdoors with oil paint, you would be amazed at how poor it actually is. But anyway, the goal here is to create a series of techniques that will give a person confidence in dealing with oil paint, and then taking it outdoors and learning some techniques indoors, which I'll be showing you in the next few videos, on how you can apply some of this stuff inside and learn some of these techniques, so that when you get outside, your learning curve will actually be a lot quicker. So not as steep, and you can get through it a lot faster. So that's my hope. As all of my other videos go, hey, this is my journey, and I just hope to show you what I've learned, and so I'm more than happy to share that with you, and hopefully you find some value here, and that you'll subscribe and follow along. Alright, so we'll get started. Alright, so first I'll go over some of the materials that you need. Really not very many, actually, to get started. I've picked 3 colors to start with, and it's just red, yellow, and blue. And these are just 3 that I had on hand that I used to use but are not part of my current palette. But they're pretty good primaries, and so there's a cad yellow deep hue here, there's a cad red deep hue here, and a cobalt blue hue. So those will work for us, no problem. And any 3 primary looking red, yellow, and blues would be just fine. If you wanted to use the French ultramarine, and over here I have like alizarin crimson, and I have Hansa yellow. Those 3 would also suffice as primaries. Or if you go to the store, you can actually just, if you just want to pick up a starter set, you can do that as well, and there you'll find usually at least 3 colors, red, yellow, and blue, plus white. And we probably won't use any white today, but I buy the large tubes of Georgian white as well. These I think I picked up at Dick Blick a long time ago. You can get smaller tubes of the Georgian at Hobby Lobby, and the cool thing about going there, like I mentioned before in my video where I actually shop there, and I'll actually show you the link to that. It'll be up above, and I'll also put it down below. You can watch that video and pick up some tips there. The other thing you'll need is a container like this one. This is what I use to when I'm in the field, and also what I use at home. It just has, this part comes out so that you can clean this out occasionally, and it's comes with a lid, and this snaps on and like that, which is great for when you're traveling because it doesn't spill or anything. And then I just go to Home Depot, which you'll also see in that video if you watch it, and I just pick up some odorless mineral spirits. I don't paint indoors with other people. Sometimes if you go to some indoor events where they're painting models and stuff like that, the odorless mineral spirits from Home Depot wouldn't be allowed. You'd actually have to use something like a Gamblin product that is actually 100% odorless. This one is odorless, but not absolutely odorless, if you know what I mean. So but for using it at home and when I'm out, it's inexpensive. It works great. So that's my 2 cents about that. So let me hang this back over here, and we'll get to. So what I want to do, there are 2 different methods of actually mixing paint. So let's get these out here. I'll just squeeze out a little bit of these. Get the red and the yellow. And if you have any piece of wood laying around, or boy, that hasn't been out of the tube in a while, or a piece of plexiglass, or even a piece of glass, if you tape the edges on it so you don't get cut by it, you can actually use glass. That will make a perfectly fine spot to mix your paint. It'll be easy for you to scrape off with your palette knife. I don't paint necessarily with a palette knife. I use it to scrape my mixing area when I'm cleaning it up, and I also for this exercise I will use it to mix some color, but some blue out here. Okay. Oh, I was telling you about the 2 schools. When I'm painting normally, I don't actually use a palette knife for mixing my colors. But if you're the type of person who feels like you want to be more exact about things, I just grab it with my brush and paint. And if you've seen any of my videos, you have seen that many times. I don't use a palette knife for mixing, but I will do that today, just to try and make an attempt to get equal amounts of paint. So I would suggest you just get a number 6 brush. This is a number 6 bristle flat. It's a long flat, and one of the things people who haven't painted before do in the beginning is they take a small brush, like maybe a number 2, and if you start here with this small of a brush, it's really not good for you. You're better off starting with something larger, because you can cover more area quickly, and it will prevent you from shying away from using paint, which is another thing that we'll talk about as we go along here. Beginner mistakes are usually, and I only say these because I started painting the exact same way, and so I'm calling them beginner mistakes because they were beginner mistakes for me. I didn't use enough paint, and I didn't use large enough of a brush. So I want to get you started off right. So start off with a nice number 6 flat. Even for these exercises, it will be just fine. So, I'm going to use this palette knife to actually mix some color. So first we'll put the primaries on, and we'll just start with red up top, just because the red is my favorite color. So we'll just put that like right here, and we'll just kind of make a wedge shape out of it. There, that makes a nice nice primary red. Oh, and you can buy some canvas pads. And we'll wash this out. You can buy some pads of canvas that are just like pads of paper, and that's really great for working through exercises and stuff with. I just happen to be using an 8x10 canvas that I had. It's a canvas panel that I had laying around, but you don't have to do that. It's more economical probably in the beginning to get one of those canvas pads, and then you can that way you don't feel so bad about just doing exercises and not actually creating anything yet. But we'll go ahead and continue on here with getting these colors on there. So this cad yellow is actually a little bit on the transparent side, but that won't really matter. We'll just put that in here. That's a red and a yellow. We'll wash that out. I'll grab some blue here, and I'll just put that one over here. Alright, so we got red, yellow, and blue, 3 primaries. And now we're going to make 2 color mixes out of each one of those colors, and then you'll see how we'll put those in between these to create the secondary colors. Okay, and now I will use the palette knife just to get sort of equal quantities. But so we'll start off with the red. I'll just pull some over here, and just based on how much I took there, I'll try and get about the same amount of yellow. We'll see if we can actually accomplish that or not. This red is going to want to overpower this yellow, so you might actually need a little more of it, but it doesn't matter. This is not an exact science. As you get used to mixing color, you'll figure out what works for you, and you'll see also that I went the completely opposite direction that I should have with this. So which is mixing darks into lights rather than lights into darks. So let's move this off to the side. Alright, so hopefully you'll forgive me for that, and then we'll move on and get this right here. Okay, let's try again. I'll take the yellow out here, and then I'll mix maybe slightly less than equal quantity. That's more like it. So maybe I'm glad I made that mistake, so you can see what happened there, so you don't have to repeat it. Alright, good enough. So now we'll take the orange here that we've created, and that's going to go right here in between our red and our yellow. That gives us a nice orange once we mixed it correctly. All right. Now we'll do the same. We'll do the same with the blue and the yellow. so we'll again mix our dark into our light. So we'll take some of the yellow out here, and then we'll take some blue, mix that in there with it, and that'll give us a nice green. Alright. Now we'll take some of the green, right in between the blue and the yellow. The reason I like this, doing this so much better when I'm showing it to you this way, rather than just going out and buying a color wheel. It's a lot better for you to actually use the paints that you're going to be using to create your paintings with, because then you'll start to see exactly what color combinations you can create with what you actually have on hand. So that's kind of important, rather than just looking at a color wheel and then mixing your colors and saying, man, I can't quite get that color to match what I'm trying to do. And so this way you know exactly what you can do, because you're using the paint that you actually have on hand. So okay, so now we're going to take the red, and we'll bring that out here, and quantity of that, and then we'll mix the blue in with the red. Might need just a little more. I'm trying to get close to equal amounts. So, alright, and you can kind of tell if color is leaning one way or another. This one is actually leaning a little bit to the red side. So I'll just take a little more blue, and it's just it's being overpowered by that red a little bit, just like the yellow was being overpowered by it. So all right, cool. All right, so now we'll take some of this purple that we've created here, and we'll drop that in here. Right in here. All right. So now we have our primary and our secondary colors. Okay, the next colors we're going to make are actually called tertiary colors. And so what we're going to take is we're going to take some yellow again, right here, bring that out here, and this time we're going to take some of the green that we created over here, and we're going to mix that in with the yellow, and that's going to give us a yellow-green. And you want to keep plenty of paper towels on hand, because you're going to need those. So the yellow-green is going to go right in here. I'll just mix those in here. Alright. And then we're going to take some of our green, and we'll stick that over here. mix our blue with it. Alright, so that gives us a blue-green. So drop that right in here. It's definitely feeling like it wasn't leaning enough to the blue side, so we add a little more blue to that. Alright. Alright, now we'll mix our blue violet. So we'll take some of the violet and bring it out here. And we'll take some blue, mix with that. Now it's important that we start with this because as we get into painting actual landscapes and things like that, we're going to really need to know how to get to these colors because you want to paint with as limited of a palette as you can force yourself to paint with. You can see I actually use 9 or 10 colors in the studio, and I use 8 or 9 colors when I'm in the field, and you know, by a lot of people's standards that's quite a few colors, but I use a lot of them. Let's see, and say that again. I use a lot of them, or a few of them, and I use a little of most of them. So a lot of my colors are just modifying some of my mixes really as a result of where I paint. So you know, I've learned what paints work best for where I spend most of my time painting in West Michigan. So if I was going out west, my palette would obviously I would alter it because the colors are very different out there. So anyway, so now we'll get the red violet. So we're going to take some more of the violet color here. I'll just throw that in the middle here. Then we're going to take some red with that, and you can see I'm just going right in between. Half of that and half of that, half of that and half of that makes that, and that's the way the. If you thought the color wheel was some kind of a crazy mystery, that's how simple it really is. And is it exactly half? I don't know. I don't paint that way, so I don't really worry about that too much. But I can tell, you know, when you look at these, how this color is leaning. You know, if it's leaning too red or if it's leaning too violet, one way or another, so you can just make that adjustment as you go. And alright, so we'll add that one in here. So that one's going to fall in here. Probably should have made my primaries bigger and these tertiaries, so these tertiaries would end up smaller, but oh well. It is what it is. All right. Alright, so now we've got red orange. So we're going to take the orange that we mixed, which was right here, and we're going to mix some red with that. Which was actually this pile that we mixed over here. But anyway. So that's our red orange. And we just have one more, yellow orange. And we're kind of low on orange, so let's take some yellow, mix that back in here. Get back to our orange color here. So I'm just mixing some yellow into the sort of red orange that I already have, just to come up with a yellow orange. And that's pretty good. Okay, so now we have a complete color wheel, and so you know where we're headed from here. The next time, the next video, we're actually going to talk about natural grays, because in landscape we paint a lot of natural grays, and then we're going to also talk about gradating these tones. And gradation just means you take the same color from a dark value to a light value. We're going to talk a lot about three things. Alright, I have to reframe this now. Well, start that back up since I got my audio here. Alright, so to clean this up, I just take my palette knife and I just scrape it. So, and if you want to get a nice gray color, just put them all together. Sometimes when I scrape my palette, I actually do this. I just bring them all together, and I most people refer to it as a pile of mud. And same here. So you just kind of put this mud together. And if you were out painting and you did this, and you didn't want to waste all those mixing pools that you have there, just blend all that together, and then just grab that, move it off to the side, and that can become very useful in a landscape, especially for darks, because you get a lot of if you're using all of these colors and then you use this mixture of all these colors, it creates a nice harmony, a nice color harmony. So I'll just take a little bit of a little titanium here and just show you. If you lighten that up, a lot of people ask the question, how do you get brown out of all of those bright colors? Well, and the cool thing is, I just showed you how to do that. Mix all of those together, add a little titanium white, and now you have a nice milk chocolatey and a dark brown color. So, all right. So I'll clean this up and be right back. All right, so not to overload you, that's the lesson for today, and I'll show you kind of where we're headed from an exercise standpoint. One of the things that I've done is my palette has changed since I made this color board, and I do have some other color boards that I've done since I've added and subtracted colors, but it's just a matrix that's set up where every color is mixed with every other color, and you can see as I go through these, it's important to know what range of colors you can actually achieve with the palette that you have. So each one of these boards kind of represents that. So you know, that nice aqua beach color, you know, if you didn't quite know how to get that by doing this exercise, you can see that by mixing some Viridian and some sap green, that's how you achieve that color. So when I talked about gradation earlier, this is exactly an example of that. And to get the mid-tone, explain the tones to you. This, you know, this is the mid-tone. This is the actual paint color. This is an equal amount of that color in titanium white, gives you the mid-tone, and then if you mix that mid-tone with an equal amount of titanium white, then you get the lightest value here. So you just create a gradation for each of your colors, and then it gives you a nice reference point when you go out into the field and you maybe struggled with achieving a particular color. When you get home, you can pull out all your boards and say, ah, that's how I do that. So it's I did that frequently in the beginning, so these really come in handy. So next time I want to talk about values, because we're going to talk a lot about three things. That's color, value, and temperature. So CVT. And those three things are the things that you think about all the time when you're out painting. You're always considering the value, you're always considering the temperature, and you're always considering nailing down the actual color. So some of these early exercises, if you bear with me and work through them, they're actually going to help you a great deal when we actually get out into the field and start doing some painting there. So as always, thanks for checking out my video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share it if you like it, and I will catch you later.